Hello, and welcome to the Founders on Flights podcast. I'm your host, Amanda, and I'm so grateful that you're here. I wanted to give a little background into what this podcast is, where these stories are coming from, and where it was born in the first place. So I've been an online business manager for the past 5 years, where I have been supporting CEOs in building their back-end business. So the tech, the systems, the processes that make everything happen and make their lifestyle possible. About a year into that, my partner and I sold everything we owned. Whatever we had left, we fit into a backpack and we took our cat and booked a one-way ticket to Mexico so that we could start backpacking full-time and living nomadically. This was a childhood dream of mine. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have any idea really where I was going to go after that, how long we were going to be in Mexico, what any of the future looked like, but it was something that I always knew I wanted to do. I loved travel. That was a dream of mine since I was little, to just travel the world. And I had started little businesses, been an entrepreneur for as long as I could remember. So this really was a full circle moment. And it was honestly something that changed the trajectory of my life from there on out. Once we landed, we were officially living nomadically. We booked an Airbnb in Mexico and knew that we were going to be there for at least the next few weeks. In the meantime, I was running the business, taking on clients, doing whatever I could to continue to grow my business and fund this new lifestyle. Right away, of course, we met a lot of people. If you're in the travel community, you know it's a completely different world. There's this type of spark and connection you get with someone when you know that you're both far away from home, maybe don't speak the same language. You are embracing a little bit of discomfort because you know you don't have anything familiar. You're living out of your backpack. Like, everything is new, and it's a shared experience. So there's this type of connection that you have with someone you meet on the road that is like no other. And it was definitely something that validated my choice because I felt that this is actually where I belong. A big reason that we wanted to be traveling is to get out of our bubble, to meet new people, to experience different cultures, to learn different traditions and learn about different cities and history and all of these things. And so you really get a crash course in that when you're sharing a bedroom with multiple people and sharing a kitchen with random strangers. So we definitely got that right away. And there were different kinds. So there's the corporate traveler who is working a corporate job but able to do it remotely. And that works because you're on a different time zone usually. I did this when we were in Bali at one point because my clients were in PST. So when it was their normal working business hours, I would be working, but it would be 4 a.m. to about 12 p.m. for me. So I would wake up really early in Bali, get all of my work done, be able to communicate with my clients, and then close the laptop when my clients are going to bed. And then I would go have my day of exploration in Bali. So that's what a lot of corporate people do when they're traveling full time, is they work on a different time zone. Or even honestly, sometimes they work regular hours that, during the day, and then they just live their life normally. So they work and then they have the evening off. That works also. But then there's the traveler who is their own boss, and that can look like a lot of different things. But these were the ones that really excited me. I don't know what it was. I did not see this type of traveler like on social media before we left because I was so surprised to meet them in person. And I don't know how I didn't see that before because it's not like that was new. It wasn't on my algorithm, I guess. But I was meeting people who actually had plans and a vision to create a business to be able to fund their travels. But even beyond that, it was something that had a deeper meaning for them. So I've met people that started retreats from their travels because it was something that came from a passion and a desire for connection and creating experiences. I've met people who were coaches and that's coming from a place of passion, but then it allows them to travel. So I was meeting people who were creating a business for themselves out of passion and with their passion to travel. So both of these things were able to work together and make each other possible. And that was something that I had just not had exposure to before, and I was meeting them firsthand. And that's exactly what I was doing. So this lit up an entire new side of my vision and my experience where I was like, wow, I'm not alone in this. There's other people doing it. It was the motivation that I needed It was the fire that I needed because I suddenly felt like I was a part of a movement. I felt like I was a part of, like I hadn't ever met anyone else doing that exact same thing as me. And I felt like I had found my people, really. And all of these people I was meeting had such amazing stories. Like, same thing, but to see it happening all over the world to all these different people was so inspiring. People who had this desire to build something for themselves for the service of others. It wasn't just a means to an end. It wasn't just a job that allowed them to travel, but it was a job that came from a passion where they wanted to build something out of nothing. And after a while, when I started meeting more and more of these people, I felt like a well of inspiration. And that kind of sounds cheesy, but I felt so lucky to know all these different stories. I was inspired by myself. I had a similar story, but to hear it from all these different people was just really exciting. Meanwhile, I had everyone back home, people I grew up around, who were always asking me, wow, how are you doing this? You're living this extravagant lifestyle, like all these things. And I was like, no one really, there's a really big gap between the two worlds, and a lot of people don't understand what goes into it. And meanwhile, at the same time, I'm meeting all these people who are a part of the travel and the business world. So that's when this podcast was born, because I felt like a need to share all of these stories of inspiration. I knew a lot of people who felt like they couldn't do XYZ. They're not good enough, smart enough, brave enough, insert thing here. When it really isn't as hard as so many people make it out to be. And because I had all of these stories building up from all these people I was meeting, I felt an obligation to share it. I felt like I needed to be a window into the two worlds and share all of this experience that I was gaining. Well, fast forward 5 years of me getting in my own way, me making excuses for why I shouldn't be making the podcast. I finally reached a point where I'm making it happen. I now have 5 years worth of experiences and relationships and conversations from people that have been building and traveling and making a life for themselves that they dreamed of. And I'm bringing them to the table to share everything. So we're pulling back the curtain. We're talking about the real truth behind how to do it. The question I get asked all the time, how do you do this? How do you have this lifestyle? How do you balance having a business that you have to build from nothing, that is going to fund your lifestyle, that is going to help you plan for the future, while also exploring new places and giving yourself fully to experiences? Because even if you've been on a trip, on vacation somewhere, you know it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of intention and effort to fully experience a new place and a culture and a community. And making that your full-time thing is a lot of energy, especially when you're moving around a lot and you have to coordinate your transportation and your food and your accommodation. All of these things take a lot of energy and time and effort. Putting them together is a whole nother experience. And on top of that, it is the most fast track self-development course you will ever take. So there's a lot that goes into it, and I'm really excited to bring these conversations to you because I've been having them all these years and I've been selfishly hoarding them, but it's time that they get their limelight. So again, these are my friends, my peers, people I've met over the years, both in person and virtually, who are building businesses while integrating a lifestyle of travel. If you have any questions that you want me to bring to the table, to bring to these conversations, let me know. I'm really honored to finally be opening up this conversation and bringing you in. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next episode.